my mates, my fellow philosophers. This is Phil's Osophy, or Philip's Philosophy, mine. This is my first video, so please bear with me. My second disclaimer is that I can be quite long-winded, so warning. And my third disclaimer about this video, as you can see by the title, stay away from Zyprexa, my Zyprexa experience. I'm not a medical professional of any kind. I don't know what kind of professional I am. I guess cat-loving, music-playing, quirky professional. I guess I'd say I'm a professional in that. Other than that, yeah, I will say that past that, all I can offer you is my experience and my anecdotal situation that happened to me. So let's get started. Around October 2020, I had been diagnosed with bipolar 2 ever since the beginning of 2020. I had a very hard year, and it sort of triggered it within me, everything that happened to me, because I had a few deaths in the family, victim of a hit and run, victim of a battery. I lost my job. And on top of that, just the regular corona, not being able to see people. And I go to concerts a lot, and that's something that I had to give up for a long time. And so it brought everything onto me, and it kind of, brought about this, squeezed out this illness in me as bipolar 2, or as described by my psychiatrist, mild bipolar. So, what happened is, let's get to the Zyprexa part, okay? So for those of you who don't know what olanzapine or Zyprexa is, it's an atypical antipsychotic primarily used to treat schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. For schizophrenia, it can be used for both new onset disease and long-term maintenance. That, for me, was the first red flag. Why? Because, well, I have mild bipolar 2. That's what both the professionals that I'm seeing said. So why am I getting put on something this extreme, And, it's sort of like if somebody said, "Hey man, I need a ride to the park." And you're like, "All right, hold on. Let me get my rocket ship." It's sort of like, it didn't make sense. So let's talk about Zyprexa. The reason why I'm making this video is because I went through a horrible experience, and I couldn't find information anywhere. Everywhere I looked, it seemed like the same old shit, the same old crap that psychiatrists read off of a list that they're paid to do, or that you find on a WebMD website. I couldn't find anything until it started affecting me, and I dove deep. Okay? And, main point of this video is to tell you those things. I'll give you a brief thing of what happened to me. So first of all, I was on 5 milligrams. I was doing fine. The racing thoughts went away. I was a little bit, feeling better. But the thing is, the most important thing is that it worked way too quickly. It kind of freaked me out. It was kind of like how people describe when benzos take place. They just work right away. They're fast reacting. And anything that works that quick is sort of concerning, And sure enough, I looked up, is Zyprexa a benzo? And sure enough, it said it isn't addicting, and it isn't habit forming, but the withdrawal is exactly like benzo withdrawal. Great. So here's the crap that doctors will tell you. Common side effects: weight gain, movement disorders, dizziness, feeling tired, constipation, and dry mouth. Low blood pressure with standing, allergic reactions, neuroleptic malignant syndrome, high blood sugar, seizures, gynecomastia, erectile dysfunction, tardive dyskinesia. Older people with dementia, it increases the risk of sudden death. Okay. So those are the side effects that are given to the general public, right? Now, what happened to me, on the other hand, is, first of all, I developed a sudden agoraphobia. After I got put on, so the 5 milligrams wasn't doing good after about a month. I got put on 10, and I started getting agoraphobia. Like I was getting afraid of going too far of a distance from home. Like I needed to be home in a snap. Like I needed a genie to just transport me. I never felt that before. It's weird as hell. And Then I suddenly started being afraid of speaking. Not even saying anything, but just, am I moving my mouth the wrong way? Like, are people? It was really odd. I was afraid of doing anything. It reminded me of people when I read about people agoraphobics who they're afraid to walk out of their door to go to the mailbox. That's what I was feeling. I was like, where the hell did this come from? This is crazy. So I started lowering my dose. Okay. Now, before I talk about the withdrawal, I just read you the side effects that are legally given to people. You know what side effects I had? So I was sleeping like 10 to 14 hours a day. It was bizarre. I never slept like that since I was a kid. I could feel myself getting fat. Like, I did read. So here's another thing that's crazy. I have like a shitty psychiatrist, and then I have a really good one. Problem is, now during the pandemic, there's so much mental health problems that all the good ones are taken. So my good one, I can't really, he's booked up forever. So, but I was trying to compare the two, and here's what's crazy. My bad one, when he put me on Zyprexa, he goes, you need to watch out what you eat. You need to make sure you don't overeat and eat junk food. I'm like, really? Why? He goes, because it lowers your blood sugar, so you're going to want to eat like crap. And I definitely, I noticed it a little bit. Like, for years I had been eating like green avocado and salad shakes, and then like ketogenic diet and no carb diet, and suddenly I'm like, I haven't eaten McDonald's in 10 years, but I want to eat like a full meal there. I started feeling that. So I started, I was dieting even more. I was trying to starve myself. And, he's like, yeah, just make sure you don't eat junk food and you'll be fine. Well, sure enough, I found the truth. The truth is that it spikes your blood sugar regardless. Your brain, when you eat food, your body decides how much sugar it wants to take in. When you're on Zyprexa, it takes in the full amount, regardless of what food you're going to eat. So what he told me about watch out what you overeat is actually bullshit, because I talked to my good psychiatrist, and he goes, listen, you could eat nothing but spinach and drink nothing but water, and you will get diabetes in 10 years. I'm like, what, diabetes? He goes, yeah. That's proven with Zyprexa. You get diabetes in 10 years. You have to take metmorphin after a few years because of fucking Zyprexa. So I was like, why am I doing this? And the crazy thing is I actually found out, I mean, I don't know if this is funny, but I found out by accident how much weight I was gaining, because I don't really use a scale because I lift. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to gain weight anyways. I got to a point where I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't feel right, because I couldn't wipe my butt. I had to like put my leg up on the bathtub or on the toilet to reach back, because there's so much inner tube fat around me. So I gained like 20, 30 pounds in like 2 months. It was bizarre. Anyways, so those are the side effects. So the side effects that I was taught that weren't told to me by by online sources or by my doctor, that you're guaranteed to get diabetes. You're going to have to take diabetes medicine. The agoraphobia out of nowhere. You might have movement disorders. You might have tremors, So anyway, so I was like, you know what? I think it's time to stop. Now, here's the part where I tell you the horrendous experience I had with Zyprexa. This is the main reason why I made this video, because anybody else who's suffering out there, I surely hope that you don't think about ending your life and you watch this video, because that's why I'm making this video, to try and help others. Because when I was withdrawing, here's the funny thing. When you're on Zyprexa, going from 20 milligrams to 10 milligrams is pretty easy. I was on 10 milligrams, and then I went to 5, and I started feeling like myself, and it was easy. Going to 2.5 from 5 is easy. Going to 0 makes you lose your mind. It's like you have new management in your brain, because what happened is I was like, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to quit on this day, because my psychiatrist is like, all right, just quit cold turkey. Just stop taking it that day. I'm like, okay. So I was having my second session of union school, so I decided to not take it the Sunday before or yeah, the Sunday or Saturday before. And I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I'm in school doing worksheets. I'm in this school that you're in school from 7 to 4, and then you get homework from 4 to 11 at night. Your brain's like, you know, just burning out with information. And I'm not getting sleep for 3 days. I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to go back on the pill. I'm laid off anyways. I'm going to try and go off of it the week after. So that's what I did. The week after, it was about December 18th, I was going over to a family Chinese food dinner, and that's the day I tried to stop taking it. So I went to sleep. The next morning I wake up violently throwing up for the next 2.5 days nonstop. Nausea, no balance. I literally couldn't walk to the bathroom because of how bad I would stand up and I'd fall over. Stand up, it was like a rag doll, and I couldn't stop throwing. I threw up literally once, at least once every hour, and I was dehydrated. It was horrible. I couldn't keep anything down. It was for 2.5 days, and I almost called 911. But I'm like, you know what? I read that this is part of the withdrawal. I'm gonna, keep strong. And then for the following weeks, my entire gut biome was messed up. I couldn't keep anything down. Constant diarrhea, constant panic attacks. It was like I had a month hangover because all I could eat was white bread. And then the panic attacks was the worst. I was caving. I'm like getting emotional talking about it because I was caving in. I couldn't stop crying every hour. I thought it was going to last forever. I was like, I don't know what it is. I feel horrible. I can't stop this. And it went on for a week and a half every single day. I called my doctor. He goes, just take Klonopin whenever you feel like it. And I never took I took Klonopin maybe 4 times in my life to that point. Like 4 pills my whole life. And that week I took one every single day because I was afraid of I was afraid what I could do to myself. So after a week, I was getting a little bit. And the insomnia. I forgot to mention that. It was like one night I sleep, one night I don't. One night I sleep, one night I don't. For the next 2 weeks, I didn't know what the hell to do. I took melatonin, I took valerian root, CBD, ashwagandha, whatever, everything, and it didn't work. Because what happens is Zyprexa changes your brain to think, oh, I need this pill to fall asleep, and so like actually at low doses it's prescribed for people with insomnia. I feel horrible for those people who they have to go through the withdrawal because so anyways, I eventually they say that your neurons in your brain eventually realize, hey, there's a change in management. We have to go back to the way it used to be with melatonin and natural sleep. And that took quite a while. That's why I'm making this video, and I'm almost concluding here. But I'm saying this to the people that are out there. I was only on Zyprexa for 2 months, and it took. I'm still having insomnia problems. My gut is still messed up. I actually, for anybody going through this withdrawal, I urge you to stay alive, to get medical help. Maybe Klonopin might help you. But it goes away. It goes away. And the way that I did it is I exercised regularly like crazy. I went to a sauna. I took melatonin. And also, for some reason, like I said, I took CBD, ashwagandha, and none of it worked. The thing that worked the best for me, for some reason, was probiotics for good mood. Because my gut biome was messed up. And when I started taking the probiotics, I stopped crying. I stopped panicking. And eventually I needed to switch medications, which helped. But anyways, there are people. So to conclude this video, before I get to the grand finale, I want to urge you, everybody on here, like I said, this is my anecdotal experience. Go online, look up Zyprexa horrific, Zyprexa nightmare, There's thousands of experiences of people having these same withdrawal. There's people who have been on Zyprexa for 10 years and they can't sleep for a full year. All these ruined lives because of this pill, and nobody fucking tells you about it. You don't hear about it from professionals. You don't hear about it from anybody. And this pill is still being prescribed. Why? Why? When there's other options. So I urge you, look those things up. I don't want you to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm telling you, I got some crazy information. So, you want to hear some really crazy information? How about this? Eli Lilly is the person who made Zyprexa, a billionaire pharmaceutical schmuck who's fucking up millions of lives with this drug, has faced many lawsuits from people who claim they developed diabetes or other diseases after taking Zyprexa, as well as by various governmental entities, insurance companies, and others. Lilly produced a large number of documents as part of the discovery phase of this litigation, which started in 2004. The documents were ruled to be confidential by a judge and placed under seal, and later themselves became the subject of litigation. Lilly, in 2006, paid $700 million to settle around 8,000 of these lawsuits. And in early 2007, Lilly settled around 18,000 suits for $500 million, which brought the total Lilly had to pay to $1.2 billion in lawsuits for this shit pill. So let's see here. December 2006, New York Times article based on leaked company documents concluded that the company had engaged in a deliberate effort to downplay olanzapine's side effects. How nice. A deliberate effort to downplay the side effects of Zyprexa olanzapine. The company denied these allegations and stated that the article had been based on cherry-picked documents. The documents were provided by Jim Gottstein, a lawyer who represented mentally ill patients, who obtained them from a Dr. David Engelman, who was serving as an expert consultant on the case. After the documents were leaked to online peer-to-peer file-sharing networks by Will Hall and others in the psychiatric survivors movement who obtained copies, in 2007, Lilly filed a protection order to stop the dissemination of some of these documents. The Times of London also received the documents and reported that as early as 1988, Lilly considered the risk of drug-induced obesity to be a top threat to Zyprexa sales. Lilly research physician Robert Baker noted that an academic advisory board to which he belonged was quite impressed by the magnitude of weight gain on olanzapine and implications for glucose. Now here's where it gets better and better. Lilly had threatened Eagleman with criminal contempt charges regarding the documents he took and provided to reporters. In September 2007, he agreed to pay Lilly $100,000 in return for the company's agreement to drop the threat of charges. So you get this asshole, Eli Lilly, making this pill that's making people horrible, that's making them have horrendous side effects, that he wants to pay people to not talk about, that he wants people to hide the side effects, that he wants to keep selling these pills, and he wants to sue this guy for telling the truth. Like you're getting into my my stream of money. Okay, I don't care about these lives I'm ruining. In September 2008, Judge Weinstein issued an order to make public Lilly's internal documents about the drug in a different suit brought by insurance companies, pension funds, and other payers. So everybody is going after this asshole. And it's still being prescribed. And people are still getting fat, traumatized, going through withdrawal, having insomnia, having panic attacks. Ain't that great? In March 2008, Lilly settled a suit with the state of Alaska, and in October 2008, Lilly agreed again to pay $62 million to 32 states and the District of Columbia to settle suits brought under state consumer protection laws. In 2009, Eli Lilly pleaded guilty to a U.S. federal criminal misdemeanor charge of illegally marketing Zyprexa for off-label use and agreed to pay $1.4 billion. Okay, so now your horrendous fucking invention is making people fat, making people manic, making people panicky, having movement disorders, having diabetes, having insomnia. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and market it as off-label use just to milk that fucking cow a little bit more. Okay? The settlement announced stated Eli Lilly admits that between September 1999 and March 31, 2001, the company promoted Zyprexa in elderly populations as treatment for dementia. Oh, okay. So now, we can't fool people, the general population, into going into this because they all know they can get diabetes and insomnia and all these other side effects. So now, who's left is the stupid old people. Let's take advantage of them. I mean, we know that in people with dementia it causes sudden death, but they're fucking old, right? Forget it. Let's kill them. So Eli Lilly has agreed to pay a $515 million criminal fine and to forfeit an additional $100 million in assets for this whole dementia spiel. The outcomes described here and their legal ramifications were fueled by motions and appeals that were not resolved until 2010. In 2021, Gottstein summarized this tangle of legal activities and their impact on political landscape of psychiatry in the U.S. in the Zyprexa papers. Okay. In conclusion, this is a horrendous sociopathic person, and obviously he has no intentions in helping people. But anyways, no, you know what the conclusion is do some research. There's some people who, like I said, I'm not a medical professional. There's some people who might need this. But like I said, these are the consequences. This is my experience. And this is a true thing that happened, the whole lawsuit and the scandal. So look up the Zyprexa papers, look up Eli Lilly, and look up some of these, forums and chats where actual people are telling you what they're going through rather than, some side effects that were probably listed by this Eli guy himself, leaving out all the extreme things. Anyways, I hope this helps somebody. I hope it gave you some hope. And like I said, stick to your guns. Just go through the withdrawal, get off of this poison, and live a happy life. Thank you for listening to my first video.